The western tanager is a songbird in the southwest United States in the cardinal family. New Mexico, the fifth largest state in the Union, has a lot of these birds next to these streams and canyons. I was working in the Gila National Forest, avoiding rabies. I traveled with Stacy on one of our days off. These are the nests that they build right in the sides of the cliff face.
Wow, it's big here.
These bridges and catwalks replace what used to be a giant pipe that carried water to the towns below.
Remember that Rocco's first one?
Yeah. It landed right there.
Yeah, on that rock. Let's see if it comes back.
Look at that.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Nice shot.
Flying back and forth. He's getting insects out of the cave.
I have to thank Stacy for identifying this bird, but I'm going to take credit for noticing its behavior, hunting the insects. Farther down below, we saw this crevice spiny lizard doing what it does best, hanging onto the side of a building near some crevices. It was surprisingly big. I'd say about 10 inches from nose to tail, or 25 centimeters. Because my hand is only about 9 inches. And just like the guidebook said, they try to escape up walls when pursued. The work in New Mexico for the Forest Service was working to find owls, to understand the quality. I'm a drunk. Wow, well, besides working with owls, we also worked in the agricultural aspect of the Forest Service on controlled burns.
Oh, okay.
The chances are, unless it had already reached the crowns, that it would probably peter itself out.
Justin was about as good as I was at the last segment trying to explain what we were doing here. But generally we were studying the mixed patches of burns.
And I'm interested in all just especially since this is a pilot year, sampling a bunch of different types of. Like I was getting into it with.
This is where they'd slashed in preparation for a burn. They weren't going to do a controlled burn. They were just waiting for it to come through, because fires happen seasonally. That evening, Justin and I, just the two of us, went out looking for owls. We actually spotted this one pretty easily. We'd come to a wash. This is the best place to find owls. They like to live on north-facing slopes and high-elevation forests with dense overstory, thin understory, and seasonal streams. The thin understory allows for easy hunting, spotting prey, and movement at night. The thick overstory helps for protection from above from hawks or other aerial predators. We were up to our usual tricks. We'd mapped out where the owl was once we'd spotted him, and then we take the mice and try and lure the owl in, hopefully to bring the mouse back to a nest so that we know that they are nesting. This owl was resistant for some reason to catching a mouse. Not hungry, not interested. Perhaps he just woke up. But that looks like a tasty mouse, right? The Mexican spotted owl. And they are quite the owl with all these neck movements. That is the classic call, the hoot that we imitate to try and call the owls in, or locate them to get them to call back to us. Takes a deep breath to do that call. I call this motorboating, and the oh no you didn't, plus the leg lick to scratch move. And look at that beak. But he just wasn't having it. So we went out the next day with the girls to the same location. Again, trying to find these owls and if they're nesting. We often spoke philosophy during the down times.
I don't know if there's any results on that, whether they prefer white or dark mice, but I saw that Geomarine had a column for that on their data sheet. I wondered, it would be kind of interesting to see.
Geomarine was a private company that contracted with the Forest Service to track owls years earlier, and we were always in their shadow.
You know, I think the battery wishes you would die already.
We didn't end up finding the owls that night, but we found something else. Thankfully, Justin picked it up. The next night, we went off tracking. I tracked Justin for the first few minutes. I was a little bored. But then, back to the routine.
Mouse carrier.
That was her call, and now we'd bring the mice to her.
Shot turn for her.
The hunt was on.
I hear her way down now. I saw it. I don't think so.
Alright, America, we have a mouse, we have an owl. We're gonna try and find out where his nest is.
You know, I don't much like commentating or the sound of my own voice, but I feel like I have to do it for historical purposes. So once again, the goal here is to get an owl, to catch a mouse, bring it back to its nest. This owl's not interested in that. Here's a mouse eye view of living as prey. Sometimes they just don't want to cooperate and stay where they're supposed to. It worked. Took the mouse, but didn't go to the nest. Just started eating it. But wait. Wait a minute.
Yeah. That's a nest. He just fed it. Whoa. He just fed it to the female. There's babies.
So that was the sound of the babies calling. That's how they beg for food when the parents bring it back to them. We now will take extra care in avoiding a controlled or uncontrolled fire getting into this area.